Hey everybody, how you doing? John Harris here with you with my pal Billy Smith. Hi Bill, how you doing?
Hey, John, just wonderful. How you doing, buddy?
You know, if I was any better, I'd be as good as you, my friend. But
You get ready for some turkey?
yeah, I'll have a little poultry. I'm not sure if I'm going to have turkey or chicken, but I'm going to have one or the other. I'm
Okay.
not going to lie to you. I'm not a big turkey guy. Well, I'm a big guy, but I'm not a big turkey guy. It's okay. Um, I like dark meat more than white meat.
Yeah, yeah.
You gotta throw extra gravy on the white meat, no matter how good you make a turkey. If you cook it at least at the right
Still
temperature, white
dry.
meat's
Yeah,
always dry.
yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm gonna have a little, at least something along those lines, a little poultry action tomorrow, I think. Um,
Very good.
with some mashed and a couple other things. I might have to. Uh, my options are to either go buy a pumpkin pie or bake one, and we know what choice I'll make.
I
As long
hear
as
you.
I got a couple dollars, I ain't baking jack. All right. So, all right, let's see what we got, buddy. How about you? What are you guys gonna do?
Doing good. Well, we got the daughter or granddaughter here, so the five of us, and I believe Steve and his wife will be down, so seven of us.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
Nice,
we're
quiet,
doing the
intimate.
turkey. Yeah, we're doing the turkey because the baby got the drumstick,
Oh, that's nice. That's
the
nice.
picture stuff,
Yeah, I
all
was
that
just gonna say
stuff.
there's gotta be pictures because she won't
And
remember or something.
yeah,
But it's nice.
and we'll also have a ham. So yeah,
Oh,
it's gonna
that's
be
good. You
good.
got a nice choice. That'll be good.
And we got three football games to watch tomorrow.
That's
So
true. We got some work to do tomorrow, so you can always blame the podcast for having to sit in the living room and munch on your food, buddy. Little food
yeah,
tray table.
no
Oh,
doubt.
I gotta watch these games. It's important.
Just gotta.
Important research. Gotta watch them. It's important research.
Yeah.
So, uh, we got Sunday Morning Express, and we might have to, I mean, you got all kinds of outs there. Um, you're not like me. I'm just an asshole. I'm just gonna do what I want. You can't.
Well, at least you serve a purpose in life.
Yeah, that's right. Everybody has to know an asshole.
Yeah.
So I fill that void for so many people. That's the kind of guy I am. So, here we are. We're from the cheap seats, in case you guys didn't know, and there's a couple other sports nuggets to talk about. We're going to talk about them first, then we'll dive into our NFL picks and info because we do have three games tomorrow, like Bill said. Thanks, Bill, for reminding me. It's true. The first three games we'll talk about are all tomorrow. Thanksgiving Day. It's turned into a big tradition for at least two of the teams, especially Dallas and Detroit, always have a home game on Thanksgiving. And then the NFL rotates, I guess, all the other ones on their own. So, a couple other sports nuggets. One was the USA a couple days ago played to a draw with Wales in the World Cup of football, international football, or soccer as we call it. We had the lead up until the 82nd minute, and then couldn't hang
Yeah,
on for those last
yeah,
few
and
minutes,
then
I guess.
Gareth Bale scored just like he did against my Union team, and so to get hurt twice in a month, that
Oh,
stinks.
that hurts. That hurts. It's like, and it's got to be this guy. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Oh, USA played well, but they needed a little more defense in the end, and they just couldn't hang on. They didn't lose. That's a good thing. But a couple other upsets in the World Cup, though. Uh, Bill, how about Saudi Arabia beating Argentina yesterday?
yeah, they're probably like one of the top ranked teams, Argentina, and I mean, stat wise, they were there, but they just couldn't find a way to get the ball
Couldn't
in
put the biscuit in the basket, I guess.
the net.
Oh man, and that's killer for them.
Yeah, I mean, Saudi Arabia, I mean, they played well, so but I don't think they were expected
To
to win
win
a
either.
game. I
Yeah,
mean, so
no, yeah, they're not very good. Usually,
and
a very good
let
team.
alone beating Argentina. So
Yeah, yeah.
kudos to them.
Kudos to Saudi Arabia, and Argentina needs a wake up call because they were picked as one of the favorites to win the whole thing, and now they're
Yep.
behind the eight ball a little bit. But like you
Yes.
said, we talked off camera. Like you said, in that pool, they're not that far off. So
No.
they're
Yeah.
still in the hunt to get.
Poland and they were 0-0 draw.
0-0 draw, really.
So that they're only a
Yeah.
point behind. So
So that's a break for them. So,
and then today you had
oh,
Japan upsetting
Japan
Germany.
upset Germany, right?
Yeah, 2-1, and
And
Germany
that
was up
Germany's
one
a
nothing.
powerhouse too.
Yeah, they were up 1-0, and by halftime, and then Japan got 2 goals in the second half.
Oh man. So all kinds of surprises already in World Cup. So um have to see what keeps happening there. Keep an eye on that. In the NHL, how about the New Jersey Devils? It's a shame they play up freaking North Jersey.
Yeah, right.
Uh, but yeah, New Jersey Devils have won 13 in a row. In hockey, that's unheard of. Well, in most sports, 13 in a row is unheard
Yeah.
of. But and it's not uh an unbeaten streak. It's 13 wins in a row.
Right.
So there's no ties in there. So they're really playing well, Bill.
Yeah, I gotta give them credit. I mean, I thought they would be good, but I didn't think they were going to be this good.
Yeah, and they're out. Well, obviously they're outscoring people. That's just a dumb thing to say. Oh, that's like asking a guy, "Oh, what's your strategy for winning the Indy 500 or the Daytona 500?" Well, we're gonna go real fast, and then we're gonna turn left a lot, and we're just gonna keep going as fast as we can. I mean, that was a dumb thing for me to say about. Oh, they've been outscoring everybody. Well, of course they
Yeah.
have, or they wouldn't be winning
Yeah, they
13 in a
wouldn't
row.
be winning.
They wouldn't win a game. What a dumbass. But that's me, the dumbass. But yeah, they're playing really well, and I think they're scoring more goals than people thought. Is what it
Yeah.
looks like to me. Well, their offense is better than a lot of people thought. And then you have the Bruins also on the East are 17-2 with no ties. 17-2. That's just unheard of.
Yeah, they got things rolling. I guess both teams haven't got any injuries. I guess, or not many, because
Not many. Yeah, you're right.
they're just both just rolling along, steamrolling.
Yeah, and Marchand got his 1,000th career point the other night. I saw that. Everybody was very excited about that for him, so that's good. In Major League Baseball, there's a couple things. We'll start out with the lower news, I guess you would call it first. Hunter Renfroe has been traded from the Milwaukee Brewers to the LA Angels. Sorry, I had Jeopardy on there if you guys heard that. And if you didn't, well, you can ignore the fact that I said I had it on. I'm trying to see if the champ from Ocean City, New Jersey wins.
Yeah,
He's like 380 some thousand. And but I get a
he's
feeling
from
that
Ocean
he's gonna
City.
win.
Yeah,
He's from Ocean City, New Jersey, and oh, he's way ahead anyway. Yeah, okay. So he's 19,000 ahead going in. So he doesn't have to bet a thing. So
and then the Tournament of Champions
that was Amy
that Amy whatever.
Amy whatever. I don't even want to get
Exactly,
into it.
whatever. Amy,
And you know,
whatever.
the worst part about it is the guy that was the runner up, he was only the runner up because he didn't bet enough. If he had bet high, he would have won. He had the same answer. He had it right in Final Jeopardy, but he didn't bet enough money. So Amy Schneider, that's what it is.
Schneider, that's it.
Yeah.
Schneider.
And yep, the Ocean City guy wins. So if you're watching this before 7 Eastern, place your bets. Make a call. Hey, I'm gonna roll with the dice on this Ocean City guy today. Call DraftKings, get a wager down. But yeah, he won big. And on the over under, go above 35. Go over because he won 35,000 to him.
Wow.
Yeah, he's crushing it. His averages are over 30,000. He bets heavy, especially in Final Jeopardy. Yeah, give him credit.
Yeah. Well, that was the other guy, the one that was the
Holzhauer was great.
Yeah.
I loved watching him. He had the hand gesture. Oh man, that was great. But he was from Vegas anyway, so he's used to doing that and playing that, and that was his job. I don't even know if he does that anymore because he's
just
on the
amazing
Chase
how these guys have that capacity to have all that.
And it's not just the knowledge, there's the dexterity, because they said you got to get that thumb working right on that buzzer. If you don't get in, you could know all the answers and never get an answer in. So
right.
So there's a little bit of dexterity with it too. It's not a sport. It's not.
Right.
It's not. We're watching Jeopardy from the cheap seats, but it's
Yeah,
not.
it's trivia.
It's trivia and trivial. That would be that was one of the categories today. Take a letter off one to make another word. So that would have fit in the trivial, and
Yeah,
then take the L off. You would have had trivia.
yeah.
That would have been nice, which has absolutely nothing to do with anything that we're talking about. So Hunter Renfroe traded from the Brewers to the Angels for 3 young pitchers. Nobody really outstanding. I'm sure that's just to try to get a little more offense instead of just Mike Trout and just Rendon and just Ohtani. Try to get a little more offense. But really, the Angels need pitching. But they need good starting pitching. And that's the problem, I think. But
It's about
Angels
70% of the teams need
need pitching. Yep, exactly. So it wouldn't surprise me if next year or two the Angels get blown up, or there's a huge trade for one of those guys to take a lot of players back and start
Right.
rebuilding stuff. So because they're getting a new owner, he's probably going to put a whole new, my people and all that stuff.
Right.
Because they are up for sale. But the biggest news probably today in baseball is that Bryce Harper, the MVP from a couple years ago and the National League Championship MVP, had Tommy John surgery today. So with Tommy John surgery, it said he's expected to be back in the early months of the season. But obviously he won't be ready to start the season. And I'm thinking early months of the season is going to be similar to his role last year for most of the year, which will probably be as the DH, because that's why he's not going to be able to throw the ball.
Right.
And the problem is you sit there and go, well, if you knew that, he could have had the surgery last season. But then again, he was so clutch in the DH role that if you didn't have him, you might not have got there. You probably wouldn't have got there, So, it was his decision making with the Phillies that decided to have him just DH, and I think it worked out for him and the team. But now he's on the shelf. I wished he'd had this like right after the season.
Yeah, I was going to say like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, he could have had this. Yeah, at least 3 weeks ago. Got a month of the rehab or the resting period under his belt already. So, but things happen for a reason, and we'll sit back and wait and see. But yeah, he did. It's a UCL injury, which usually, or not usually, but sometimes requires Tommy John to fix it, and that's what happened here. That being said, I think we're ready to try to get into our football picks, Bill. But those things did need to at least be addressed at some level. So, 7 players from the Michigan State team with that fight in the locker room or in the clubhouse on the way to the locker at halftime a couple weeks ago with Michigan.
Mhm.
It looks like 7 players are now suspended instead of the original 4. They were able to identify from the tape that there are at least 7 Michigan State players that were trying to fight and attack 1 or 2 of the guys. And that's a shame. That's we've gone nuts when it comes to sports and athletics. And I love sports and I love athletics, but people got to remember, even the players, that it's entertainment.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Let's just slow down here a little bit. If you were getting ready to punch somebody and you're not in a boxing ring or an MMA, UFC ring, and you're getting ready to hit somebody, with your fist, take a step back and go, hey, wait, whoa, what's this going to do to us? So,
they don't think.
No, nobody thinks. They just let their emotions get out of control. But then again, some people go, well, that's what makes them great players. Okay, yeah, you beat the crap out of a guy. That makes it great. Yeah, thank God he's a great player. But that's a whole different subject. I won't get into it. All right, buddy, you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, we're saddled up, ready to go. Game 1. The first 3 games, folks, are all Thanksgiving Day, which is Thursday, of course. Buffalo is going to Detroit, and Buffalo is picked by 9. Now, we were checking 2 different deals today at 2 different time periods. So if you end up with a different spread, let me know. And
All
we'll
right, yeah,
look at maybe
I
making a
got nine.
change.
I got 9 too.
Okay. Yeah. And I have DraftKings up, which is normally what we use. So
Yeah.
uh,
So yeah, this will be our first game, 12:30
yes.
game.
Well,
I guess it's on CBS. I guess maybe Fox. I'm not sure.
let me see. I can tell you that one should be on CBS because the Giants and Dallas will be on
Yeah,
Fox,
yeah.
and New
But
England, Minnesota is on NBC.
yeah, not that
But
it really matters, but
no,
just in case you want to tune in without looking up the guides and whatnot.
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, Detroit's one of the teams that are always on Thanksgiving. They get the home field. Uh, Sometimes I agree because it's traditional. Other times I disagree because I think it's not right to the other teams. But it is what
Yeah,
it is.
but sometimes the other teams don't want to play Thanksgiving because it's a
Yeah,
holiday.
yeah. So
You know,
yeah,
it's like I don't mind playing them once in a while, where Detroit always has to play and Dallas always has to play.
yeah.
So
But Detroit is they started off hot at the beginning of the year and not so much the last couple of weeks.
last week they did put a whooping on the Giants.
That they did. That they
Yeah,
did.
they did. Yeah.
That that they did. And I'm just not a big giant person anyway, so I guess I didn't
Yeah.
take that into consideration, even though they were,
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you there. I think the Giants have had some breaks go their way, and
yeah,
but they've also got some injuries
yeah,
now at wide receiver, and some of those things with the Giants are starting to show themselves.
yeah. And Buffalo, they haven't been up to par that much the last couple of games also, but 9 points a lot, but I think I'm going to take Buffalo and give the 9.
Okay,
I mean, I like the 9, but I think Buffalo needs a breakout game.
you're probably right. Um, However, Detroit's offense has gotten better, and their defense has gotten better. But my theory on that is the reason for the offense getting better is the running game, because now they have two good running backs that are really running the ball.
Right.
Swift and
Jamal
is
Williams,
it Jamal
who's the
Williams?
short yardage guy. Yeah,
Yes, short yard.
leads the league in
Didn't he
touchdowns.
have 3 touchdowns last week? He leads
Hmm.
the league. He's up to 12 rushing touchdowns, which leads the league.
Yeah,
Um, and then you have Swift, who also had a touchdown last week and gets you more yards. Um,
and they're still not using him that much. He's coming
no,
back
they're
from
really
injury,
not.
but I
Yeah,
mean,
they're
I have him
not
on my
really using
fantasy
it.
team, and it's frustrating because
Well, I think because the other guy is doing so well,
yeah,
that they're doing that. So yeah, so they're playing a lot better. That being said, I thought that's where you were going to go at first, with all those Detroit's playing better.
yeah,
And that being said, so but I guess you left it for me again, so I'll say it. That being said, Detroit's improving, but this was going to be too much of a task for them. I think Buffalo, like you said, is going to really look to break out. They have too much offense. The only shot that Detroit may have is, having that good running game. If they can get it going, you can keep Buffalo's offense off the field. But I don't see that that's enough. Their defense is good. It's gotten better over the last few games, but it's not good enough not to stop Buffalo.
yeah. And
So I'm with you.
As long as Josh Allen don't turn the ball over,
Right.
I don't
Yep.
think it'll be close.
And this might be the fix. Like you said, this might be the breakout game again,
Mhm.
where they get themselves back to where they were.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm with you. I took Buffalo across the board as well. Giants, Dallas. Now I'm looking at injuries. There's quite a few this week. Of course, it's because we're halfway through. And I have them written down here, so I will tell you. Let me see. Giants don't really have anything major.
I think their offensive line is
Offensive
banged
line's
up.
been bagged up. Those guys are on IR, so it's no new
Yeah.
ones, I should say.
Right.
And they've got receiver issues at receiver.
Mhm.
Dallas, meanwhile, Parsons is listed as questionable with a knee, He's the
Yeah,
greatest
I
one.
think, and I believe their defensive line's all sick. I just read earlier that,
Yeah, I did read that.
I guess,
They're
I don't know
all,
if the flu's
I don't
going
know if
through or
it's the
something,
flu or COVID, but yeah.
yeah, they're,
So
they
that's
should,
gonna be, right, that's, tomorrow's gonna be, probably last minute game time for some of those guys. But I still think that, they're too much for the Giants anyway. And now the spread is high. Spread is 10.
yeah, 10 is a lot.
That's a lot. Um, but the way they handled Minnesota was just,
Whew.
man, that was definitely from Animal House. Thank you, sir. May I have another? Because there was a
Yeah,
spanking going on there.
that was a spanking.
Oh, I thought Minnesota were now new members of the Dallas fraternity. They just kept getting spanked at the hazing. Um, so I am going to take Dallas across the board.
Okay. I got Dallas to win the game. 10 points is a lot again for a
Yeah,
division game, a lot.
that's true.
So I'm going to go out on the limb, and I will take the 10.
Okay, we got the Giants against the spread. You got it, brother. Um, but obviously we'll leave that open for the Sunday Morning Express because of the line. Well, we can't do a Sunday
We
Morning
can't.
Express, but notify me if you want to change
Right.
it, and
Yeah,
I'll do
no,
the
I'm
same.
notified.
It'll be
Yeah.
offensive line and anything about Parsons because that's
Yeah,
big
because that's
too.
folks, that's our 4 o'clock game on Fox.
Yes, 3 o'clock Central, 4 o'clock Eastern. And then at nighttime, I believe it's an 8 o'clock game Eastern, is New England at Minnesota. I am surprised by the spread here, Bill. It is only 2.5.
Yeah. Either they see something in Minnesota.
Well, DraftKings moved it up to 3, but still
That's
it's
3
3.
now.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
3 now. So
Um,
I'll change it to 3. Okay.
I think it because the Patriots got a good pass rush. So I think, and Dallas had 7 sacks on Kirk Cousins last week. So that could be
Yeah, and I think people
one of
think
the
that Bill
reasons.
Belichick's still one of the defensive
Right.
gurus out there. Um, but
But
I
but Minnesota was just dismal on offense, and I don't see that happening back to
no,
back weeks.
no, I don't
And
either.
so I'll take the Vikings across the board.
And that's what I did. I think even though it's 3 points instead of 2.5, that's what I did. I believe that actually they're going to want to prove something to themselves and come out and show that they are a good team. And last week was just an aberration. So
Right.
Atlanta and Washington. This is the one that shocked me. I'm going to double check this again, just in case. No, it's still the same. Is that Atlanta is picked by 4.5?
No, they're getting 4.5. Washington's a favorite.
Let me go.
See
Oh,
the plus sign?
okay. Yep, there's the plus. Yeah, the plus signs on Atlanta. You're right. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Washington is playing really, really
And
good ball.
Washington's playing really well.
They're running the
And
ball well. They definitely, I think, get Chase Young back this week.
yes, well, it says he's questionable,
He's still questionable, but
but
I
he's
think
at least off the IR.
yeah,
That's step one. I think you're right. I think he's questionable. And there was somebody else. Give me a second. I will tell you who it is. Wentz is eligible, so he'll probably be the backup.
yeah,
And he did come out and say the right thing. He says, "Hey, I understand we're winning with the change, so why disrupt that?" So
yeah,
he did say the right thing, which for Carson Wentz, that's a step right there.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Um,
but yeah, Washington.
yeah,
Even with my misunderstanding, I'm still taking Washington across the board.
yeah. I mean, they're playing good
They're
ball,
playing real
and if
well.
they keep winning, they're right there in the
Yeah,
playoffs. And
and they have a good enough running game to keep Atlanta off the field, who's not
yeah,
explosive either.
no, they're not exposed. They're a running team, and Washington's pretty good against the run.
Yeah,
So
and
I think that hurts Atlanta a lot. So
yep, it does. And Kyle Pitts is out for
Yes, he's out for the
Atlanta,
season.
he's on the IR now, exactly.
Yeah.
So, the other part about that is really the only two weapons you have, if you think about it now, are Patterson and Mariota, both running the
Yeah.
football.
Yeah.
So if you slow Patterson down just a little bit, I think
Mhm.
you're gonna be all right. That, make sure you cover them on kickoff and punt returns. Holy cow.
Right.
Wow. Well, especially
Yeah.
kickoff. Yeah,
Yeah.
kickoff returns.
No doubt. So I'll take Washington across the board.
Okay. Baltimore and Jacksonville, your Ravens, I have picked here by 4, which
Ravens.
personally,
I had 3.5, but that
and
might have went up.
then DraftKings says 3.5 now. Okay. Um, which I obviously can change that to 3.5, but either way, I think that's actually even more of a question to me, because I really thought it'd be higher. I know Jacksonville is playing harder and playing better, but
Yeah, they are. But Baltimore's struggling too. I guess
uh,
some of these teams are just
now Lamar Jackson is listed as questionable,
right.
but he was questionable last week, so
Yeah.
I don't think that's a
But
major
they're,
issue.
they're banged up with receivers.
That's true. That's true. And even their running backs are banged
Yeah,
up.
and running backs too. Yeah. So I mean,
But that being said,
that being said, I'll take Baltimore across the
I
board.
still took Baltimore across the board as well. So um, I don't think Jacksonville is quite there yet.
There you go.
But they're getting closer. They really
I
are.
do
Their
like
defense
the
isn't
the
bad.
running back ETN. I really like
Oh,
him.
I like ETN. He did have a fumble issue earlier in his season, but it looks like he has straightened that out. Speaking of fumbling issues, before I forget it, I don't have it down in the notes, but I don't know if you saw Denver cut Melvin Gordon
Yeah,
because of
Melvin
his fumbling
Gordon
issues.
and the Rams had cut
And the
Daryl
Rams
Henderson.
cut Henderson. Yes. I don't know if it's for the same. I
So
don't think it was for the
I
same
think
reason, but
I think both will be on the rosters real soon because
yeah,
the vaccine.
if not this week, then probably next week, or at
Yeah,
least signed to some practice squad so they can move them up,
yeah,
learn a playbook and move them up. Um, somebody will probably look at Melvin Gordon, and we didn't get to the Kansas City game yet, so we'll talk about that when I get there.
mhm.
But yeah, I did the same thing with Baltimore across the board. Chicago and the Jets. Now, Chicago is picked, I believe, by 6, right?
No, they're
No,
getting
the
6.
Jets, they're getting
Jets are
6.
favorite.
The Jets are favored by 6, which seems
I
kind of high for a
I
couple of
believe
reasons.
I believe that's because I don't think Fields is going to play.
I agree that that is probably the reason. They haven't come out and said it yet. He said he will know more himself on Friday. Um, he does have a separated shoulder, as well as a couple ligaments that look to be torn. But it's not his throwing shoulder.
Right.
And remember, Baker Mayfield played almost the whole season last year in Cleveland with a left shoulder separation.
Hmm.
So it probably depends on how severe it is and if they can put it in a harness and how much. And at some point, it's probably a pain tolerance issue.
Right.
But it does depend on the severity of the separation. I mean, it could be quite painful. And do the Bears want to take a chance at this point in the season and or career of Justin Fields
Right.
with having him go out there and get hurt worse? I don't know who Chicago's backup is. Last year we would have said Andy Dalton,
Right.
but I don't know who it is this year. But all that being said, the Jets are they are the 6-4 team that is the most muddled I've ever seen for a 6-4 team. I
Yeah.
mean, but I give Robert Saleh credit. He's benching his number 2 draft pick in Zach Wilson. He's getting benched. Um, he said today, and it's Mike White that's starting, who was originally the 3rd string quarterback.
Right.
So I guess they're going to take a look at Mike White and say, let's see if he's got anything, because Wilson's got nothing and Flacco's too old.
Right.
If White's got something, maybe we can coach him up for the future. If he doesn't, then we may need to go in another direction. Now, Saleh did say, I saw his press conference. The New York Jets coach said that Zach Wilson does some good things well, made some good decisions, but sometimes makes a bad one when he hurries, and there are other things, quote unquote, to look at. Well, the other thing was, rolling everybody under the bus but himself the other day.
Right.
Do you owe the defense an I mean, the reporter threw him a softball. If you think about it, here's my chance to look like a leader of the team. Tell them, I sucked, which is what most quarterbacks do. I didn't play up to potential. I was terrible. Josh Allen did it a couple weeks ago.
Right.
I didn't play up to my potential. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. We're a better team than that. We're a better offense than that. We do owe those guys a better effort. I owe those guys a better effort. And he would have walked into that locker room and they would have said, hey, no problem. We got your back, blah, blah, blah. That's what a leader does.
Right.
Instead of just going, no, and walking off like a pouty little punk ass. I mean, that's what he looked like. They showed the thing and he was like, do you owe the defense? We only scored 3 points. No. No, yeah. So he obviously, to me, I'm like, he must want to take his paycheck and go home. If I'm a defender in the locker room, like, it was just punk.
Yeah.
And I think Saleh's addressing it. My personal opinion is this is some kind of in-house suspension, that they won't use the word suspension.
Right.
And it's a growing up process, and he hasn't grown up. He's not a mature adult yet to me. So I think if Fields plays, I think the Bears win. I really do. Because Mike White's played before, and he's, he might be as good as Flacco or a touch better, but he's not going to be the long-term answer for the Jets.
Right. Oh, I like the opposite side. I like the Jets defense. They're playing really, really good ball. And
we got our first real difference of the day.
I think I like the Jets to win the game, but at 6, I will take the Bears with the points.
Okay. Got Chicago with the points and the Jets for the game. Next one. I took Chicago across the board.
Right.
For now, anyway. If Fields is hurt, I might change both of those. I mean, that's a huge, and like you said, the Jets are
I really
good
don't think he's
defensive
going to
team.
play with them having the spread like that. I really don't think. They
Yeah,
haven't
and
come
if
out to
he's
tell him, but I don't think.
and if he's not playing, that Jets defense will come after the whoever's backing him up, and then you gotta look at it as a whole different game. I think at that point. Here's the one that I'm going to be picking the same time as you, Bill, and I'm still not going to be sure of it. Cincinnati and Tennessee. Tennessee has no new marginal injuries. We don't know if Jamar Chase is back yet. Burrow he did practice. Burrow seems to think he's playing. Chase hasn't said anything, and the coach is going, well, we're still evaluating, which is probably, we're not going to let them know that he's playing, that kind of thing. If Chase plays with Tennessee, that's a huge difference to me. But Tennessee's got a pretty good defense. Man, it's tough. But the point spread is 2. It's in Tennessee.
Yeah. I think the D-backs is the big difference here. I think that's the weakness of Tennessee is the DBs, and even without Chase, they have Tyler Boyd and
T. Higgins.
And I
Well,
think
the other
that's enough
part,
to
and
get
I
it done.
forgot, is Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon's questionable.
I think was his a concussion?
I think his is concussion.
It is, yes. So,
but Perine came in like
Perine looks good.
3 touchdowns. So
I was just going to say, I don't think there's much of a drop off there.
Yeah.
Different type of back too, because I think he catches the ball a little better out of the backfield. You get him in open field, and he's tough to bring down. He's got moves, he's got great speed, whereas Mixon will run you over with decent speed.
Right.
That was a 2 different kind of back there. That's why the 2-headed thing works pretty good with them. But that's a good point. Gosh.
I didn't mean to talk into it.
No, I haven't written anything down yet. Well, you tell me your pick and while I'm deliberating here.
Cincinnati
You going across the board?
across the board. Yes, sir.
Okay. The thing I love about Tennessee is I love Derrick Henry just ramming it down their throats. I mean, he's old time beast mode. He's
Yeah, that
Marshawn
he is.
Lynch, old school.
Yeah.
He just run you over, and I love that about him. But when your whole defense is going to know that that's happening, and Cincinnati's got a little better players than a lot of teams in the league, and it's only a 2-point spread. If it was 4 or 5, I would probably take Cincinnati win the game and Tennessee to cover the spread.
Right.
But it's only 2 as of right now. I'm going to go. I hate to do it, but I have to agree with you, Bill, because I think Jamar Chase is going to play. And yeah, Tennessee's weakest part of their defense is their defensive backfield. So for now, I'm going to, if they slow down Henry at all, you're forcing Tannehill to throw the ball.
Right.
That can backfire on you, or you could win it. It all depends on how well you play and how you can pick up their keys. So I'm going to go with you for now. It could change on the Sunday Morning Express. It could change. It's just a gut feeling. Denver, Carolina. In Carolina, not in the high altitude of Denver. I know Russell Wilson is playing banged up. Carolina is starting Sam Darnold. No Baker Mayfield. PJ Walker is still out.
Right.
So for this week, at least, Sam Darnold gets a shot to return as the Carolina QB.
And I think this is the wrong time to come back because Denver's defense is pretty good.
Denver's defense is good. Offense isn't great. Of course, they just dropped their leading running back.
Right.
But he had the most yards on the team, but he also had more fumbles than probably the whole offense combined. So
yeah, I
it's
think
in his head.
this one's an easy one for me. I like Denver across the
Like
board.
Denver across the board, and I think I did the same thing. Yes, I did. Yeah, because their defense, Darnold is not mobile,
No.
and they're coming. Denver's defense is good. Their offense is terrible, but their defense might score a pick six or a fumble sack, fumble recovery, or both.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm with you on that, and I took Denver as well. Who was picked there? Was it Denver?
Oh,
Carolina.
Carolina
Was picked by 2, right?
No.
2.5.
Denver is the favorite.
Yeah, Denver's a favorite, 2.5. So
2.5. Okay, I had 1.5. All right,
okay.
so
I think this has 2.5.
Okay.
Let's see. It did earlier. It might have dropped. Let's take a look. Where are you? That's not it. Vision's not great today, Bill. I apologize. Sorry, folks. It's taken me a minute because reading is fundamental, and when you can't do it, where the hell did it go? Well, there it is. Yeah, it's 1.5 now.
1.5. Okay.
Yeah. Makes my pick easier. It makes the Denver pick easier.
Yep.
So we'll go that route. Houston, Miami. This bit of nugget for you. Davis, the quarterback for Houston, is benched. Kyle Allen will be starting for Houston. Nothing wrong with him. They're just benching him. And Miami, it's in Miami, and it is a 13.5-point spread, which is more than some people score in a week.
Yeah.
This is just the spread. Yeah. And it's like,
well, there's no doubt that Houston can't score the points with Miami. So
no.
I will definitely take Miami to win the game. However, 13.5 points, a lot of points.
Okay.
They do have a good running game in Dameon Pierce.
Houston does, yes.
Yes. So it could be a ball control thing.
Well, it is still 13.5. I was checking that.
That's a you know what? but Miami's coming off a bye, so right. I think Miami came didn't play
Yes,
this week, so they're well
yes.
rested.
Yeah, now there are no buys this week because of the
Yeah, and
Thanksgiving
then
games.
they're running back Chase Edmonds. They put on IR, so he's out.
Yes, yeah, he's out.
Uh,
But they got Jeff Wilson,
right.
who has been tearing it up anyway.
Yeah, as bad as Houston's been, I guess I'm going to have to give the 13.5.
I did.
I
I
wanted to
did.
take them, but I just
It's
can't.
just, I know, it's one of those that you almost start rooting for them too. Like, oh, I really hope they start to play better.
Yeah,
The whole Deshaun Watson thing was a huge debacle for them. Even though they handled it wrong from the
mhm.
get-go. At this point, it's new people in there trying to run it. And but they're doing what they can do. They're scrapping it. And I
Yeah,
think at this point, they're evaluating whether Allen can do anything. I think they just took half the season and saw that Davis Mills is not the answer.
right,
Um, so they're gonna, and I was hoping he was like a Taylor Heineke, play above his potential. Was looking
right,
pretty good, even though he was a high draft choice.
right,
But no, he's just not quite there. It may not all be his fault because he doesn't have weapons,
right.
but still some of his decision making hasn't been good. So I could see why they're doing what they did. Maybe you look and see, can Kyle Allen give us anything? If not, then we're going to have to look at a draft, and they're
Draft,
going to
yeah,
be low enough to get something in the
yeah. They're
draft. So
gonna,
that's right,
yeah,
and that could be part of it too. I don't want to say they're tanking because they don't really need
that,
to.
yeah. They
It's
don't
not
need, yeah,
it's not on purpose, but I think we got problems. Tampa Bay, Cleveland. Tampa Bay, the only guy on any kind of um, injury restriction that would make a difference as far as offense or anything is concerned is two guys actually. They're both questionable though. Is Gage and Leonard Fournette. Fournette's
yeah.
questionable.
Fournette's banged up.
Yeah.
And even if he doesn't play, this rookie White,
I was gonna say
uh,
White's been tearing it up, really. He looked
he's
really
looked
good.
really,
Yeah.
really good. So
Mhm.
I think that's a plus if Fournette doesn't play.
It
Um,
might be. It might be. Or even
and
if it's not a
and
plus,
yeah,
it's definitely not a
and
detriment.
is uh is Watson playing for Cleveland or no?
Not yet. Next week
Not
is
yet.
he's
That's next
eligible.
week.
This is the last week.
Okay.
And
That's the
I think
last week.
that might be another thing for Cleveland. I think if these guys like Joby Brissett
Right.
and they know it's his last game,
Right.
they might really rally around this guy and say, let's send him. I mean, he's going to still be on the team, but
Right.
let's send him off here as a winner. Let's let everybody see, hey, this guy isn't as bad as everybody thinks. Uh,
Right.
so that could be a rallying cry for Cleveland, and it is at home
Mm-hmm.
against Tampa Tom and Tampa Tom
Yeah. And
the
I think
background singers.
and after the last couple of weeks, Tampa Bay starting they may start to come on now. It's like
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
they're going to be tough, and I don't see Cleveland hanging with them, so I'll take Tampa across the board.
I took. I may regret this, but after last week, my friend. Well, no, but we'll talk about last
Yeah,
week in a couple minutes. But I remember an upset pick of the week that,
yeah, he did. I
baby,
give
and
you
it was
kudos.
big.
It was
Um,
huge.
so I'm going to put John's upset pick of the week. I am taking Cleveland across the board.
Wow.
And like you said, I will probably regret this. There it is. So obviously, with that being said, I'm taking Cleveland
Yeah, 3.5
three and
points.
a half. Yep. Arizona, but watch me lose the spread by half a point. Son of a. Um, but Arizona at home against the Chargers. I may have this written down wrong. Yeah, it says Arizona 3.
Cardinals are +3.
Good for them.
And
I
yeah,
don't
good for
see
them.
because I don't see
I
it.
think they probably need a 1 in front of that because they're just decimated.
Yeah. I mean,
Kyler
Murray
Murray's still
may play.
questionable, but
Right.
he
He's
may
still
play.
questionable, but they're looking at him
No Zach
trending. No
Ertz.
Zach Ertz.
Their defense
You know,
isn't that great either.
the running
And
game hasn't been as good as they thought. And All they
And-
really have is Hopkins.
Yeah, and the Chargers look pretty good against
Yeah, they held in there
the
against
Chiefs
the
last
Chiefs,
week.
took them
So
to overtime. Herbert is a monster, dude. I mean,
yeah,
it's a shame he doesn't have, another one more weapon maybe or something. I
right.
don't know. Or Mike Williams to stay healthy. Now he's listed as questionable,
Yeah, I think he
but
made
he played
one
last
play.
week,
He
made
caught
one
caught
catch.
one ball,
It
and then
was in
he's
for
out.
3 plays and he was out. And apparently it's a high ankle sprain, I believe, and that's the problem. Is
You know,
just when you think those things are recovered.
these players are just terrible. They
Yeah,
just
they're terrible. It's an ankle. They're terrible. Now everybody else is all right. So Keenan Allen's okay. Everybody else is supposedly okay.
yeah,
But I mean, they don't have a great tight end,
yeah,
and they need to.
yeah. That's too much firepower. So
Yeah, I
Chargers
mean, I
across the
do
board.
like Eckler. I mean, to me,
Yeah,
he's like McCaffrey light, but they're a third less McCaffrey than your regular
yeah,
monster.
yeah.
But he's pretty good. Um,
Mhm.
I thought the Chargers stopped going to him too soon, to be honest with you, last week. And I was rooting for the Chiefs. I'm big
Right,
Chiefs guy.
right.
But and it helped you and me because we both picked it right. We
Yeah,
picked the
we picked
Chiefs
it
to win the
right.
game,
Yeah,
and we picked the Chargers to beat the spread.
yeah, yeah,
So we picked it right. But I thought they stopped going to him too soon because he's a threat out of the backfield in the
yeah.
passing game too. And they stopped going to him, and to me that hurt them. So
Hmm. Yeah, so
uh
I'll take the Chargers across the board.
and I did as well. It's 4.5, like you said, and uh I'm doing the same thing.
I got 3 points.
You got 3? Let me look. Chargers. Yeah, it's 3. It was 4.5 earlier. I don't know what the change there. That's a big change. But either way, to me, that helps us.
Right.
But it's 3, so got that. Vegas, Seattle. It is 3.5 for the Raiders.
3.5 is plus. Yeah, 3.5 for the Raiders.
For the Raiders. Or
Hmm. This
interesting.
could be, yeah, this could be one of the games of the week. The Raiders got a big win against Broncos last week. Offensively, they're starting to look better. They're throwing it at Devontae Adams a
Yeah,
lot more.
yeah.
Um, but I
And
still
they're
think,
playing harder for Derek Carr. I mean,
yeah,
that kid's a leader. I mean, he's
yeah,
got some talent and he is a leader. I don't care what anybody said. Everybody's like, well, maybe they were looking on from Derek Carr. If they did, somebody else would grab him up in a heartbeat.
yeah,
And he's got some years left, and he's a leader, this kid.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
he really is. He's a lot. I hate to say it, he's a lot better than his brother ever was. His brother was supposed to be this big touted number one,
Yeah,
but Derek Carr, to me, has led that team. He wears his passion, his heart on his sleeve. He wants
mhm,
to win, and he wants to win in Vegas. He wants to win as a Raider. So
yeah,
I like the guy a lot. I really
yeah.
do. Matter of fact, I really hate the fact that he plays for the Raiders in that division. I'm like, couldn't he play for somebody else, like, you know, anybody else? Could he go to New England or,
Yeah,
he put him in a Jets uniform, baby. Give him a couple weapons,
yeah,
but I like the kid a lot.
yeah,
That being said,
yeah. And the Seahawks are coming off a bye last week, so they're well
mhm,
rested, and I like them
I like him a
overall
lot.
a little
Yeah,
bit better. So I'll take the Seahawks across the board.
yeah, I did the
And
same as well.
playing that 12th man stadium is that's tough
That's
to.
tough. That's tough to do too. Yeah. Rams Chiefs. Stafford is definitely out in concussion protocol. Wolford is listed as questionable. And remember
Oof.
last week Wolford didn't play. It was the third stringer. I want to say his name was Perkins or something. A mobile kid, but he played the second half for the Rams. The spread though, it's in Kansas City. So that's like throwing a gladiator with one leg into the Coliseum against the Lions.
Yeah,
But the spread is 15.5 last I knew. Let me
yeah,
double check. It may have
15 and a
changed.
half.
If it did,
That's
uh,
two. That's a 2 touchdown with two extra points.
and
Man, that's
a
a
little
lot.
extra to boot. Yeah.
Woo.
That's just brutal. Rams, Chiefs, yeah, 15 and a half
But the
still.
Chiefs put up points like there's no other, and there's no way, let alone a backup, a third stringer is going to put up points against the Chiefs. So
Yeah,
I'll gladly lay the 15 and a half.
believe it or not, I did the same thing. But for now, the 15 and a half is such a huge
It's
margin
huge.
that I'm thinking something could go wrong here. Um, and the 15 and a half, I mean, if they're up 14 in the fourth quarter with about 8 minutes left, I could see Andy Reid pulling people.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me, Andy. Come on.
I think if he's pulling people, they got to be up like at least
You might be right. They gotta be about
25,
like
30 points.
25 with 8 minutes
Yeah.
to go. Yeah, it's gotta be like 41-16 or
So
some shit.
yeah. So I don't.
Yeah, for now, I'm keeping it this way because it doesn't matter to me if the second or third string guy's playing. It's not Matt Stafford. Um, we talked about this earlier. Henderson, the running back for the Rams, has been dropped.
Mhm.
He's waived. Kansas City does have some injuries. They say Schuster is questionable coming out of concussion. Tony is questionable. He had one play, a nice touchdown, and then he got hurt. And that's what they were afraid of because he was hurt before. He has a hamstring issue. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire was put on IR for I believe hamstring.
Right.
Yes. So he's out. However, they're trying to get Pacheco in the game more anyway.
Right.
And he did run very well last week. And McKinnon ran well, though he had a fumble.
Mhm.
So you've still got McKinnon, you still got Pacheco. Tony's questionable. If he comes back, he'll probably run a ball in an end around or two as well.
But I don't think it matters, man, because
I
nobody.
don't I don't think it matters.
Going back, I mean, I know Kelsey's as a Pro Bowl type tight end, but when you know he's going to get the ball,
And you can't stop it. But
I just don't get it.
well, you think about it, um, they've got three good tight ends. I mean, Noah Gray is good. He got a touchdown, I think, last week. I know he got one the week before, and he's had a couple big catches. And this other kid, I can't think of his name.
But it's just,
escaped
I
me.
just don't get it.
But
They know
they
they
got
don't.
three good tight
No
ends.
receivers. They're going to throw to a tight end. Stick the goddamn tight end.
Double, triple, quadruple,
That's like,
six
yeah.
tablet,
I
cover
mean,
the
you
damn
don't
tight
let one
end.
guy beat you.
You see 87? Yeah. Cover him with everything. Take a blanket and put over his face so he can't see.
Yeah.
Do whatever you gotta do.
It's
Oh my God.
it's
Yeah,
frustrating.
it is. Yeah, and it's not whether you're going against the team or nothing. It's just sometimes you see something that just looks stupid.
Yeah.
Or you gotta, of course, everybody's like, well, it's not as easy as you think.
Yeah.
Put 11 guys on that son of a bitch, okay? Let somebody else beat me. All right.
Exactly.
I don't care if you got to sneak a 12th guy on there. Let the coach grab his back, whatever it takes. If you know that's the big weapon, you got to do something. You got to come up with something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm with you for now. Is I took the Chiefs by more than the 15 and a half as well, but it just scares me that point spread. I won't pick against the Chiefs, but I will in this game. But I may chicken shit out and change it to the Rams
I'm
on
sure
far as
you
the
will.
spread. But no, maybe not. I mean, I just don't
Gobble,
like
gobble, gobble, gobble.
gobble, gobble. Third string quarterback and all. Yeah, probably still be eating leftovers by then. So what the hell? Or I'll still just be eating. Niners and New Orleans in Santa Clara. And the Niners are picked. I will double check it for you.
9.5.
I knew it was 9.5, and it still is.
Yeah. I like San Francisco to win the game, but I think a Camara type team 9.5 is awfully generous. So I'll take the 9.5.
Okay. So we got a little difference there. We definitely took difference on the Jets and the Bears. We're different on Tampa Bay and Cleveland. I took that as my upset pick of the week. Is that the only difference?
Yep.
No, you took the Giants to cover.
Oh, the Giants.
I did not. So we've got that difference. I took Chicago across the board against the Jets. You think the Jets are going to win.
Right.
So, okay, that was the one difference we had.
But
Both took Cincinnati,
but
Detroit, Denver.
but I also took Chicago to cover.
Yes, you did. I got that here. Denver, Miami, Tampa Bay.
All right. So you're taking the Niners across the board.
I am taking the Niners across the board,
Ooh.
sir. I know it's 9.5, but they just look so freaking impressive. They're just they may be on that roll. It wouldn't surprise me to see
You
them.
just said that like a nice, sexy woman went across the street. You're like,
That's just oh man, that's oh look at her. She's just oh my gosh. Yeah, you're right. I mean, and I'm not a Niners fan. I don't hate them, but I'm
Right.
not a Niners fan. But man, I watched that and I'm thinking, if you like football, damn, this girl's good. she's wearing that red and gold really nice. That's her
Yeah.
colors, that girl. I mean, I saw somebody picking on Jimmy G, and I'm like, why are you doing it? Oh, he's not real accurate. He's accurate enough.
Yeah.
You know, he's accurate. And what that team is kicking ass right now. They've got everything. They already had a good defense.
Right.
George Kittle finally woke up, which was great for my fantasy team. I won 3 in a row in fantasy, thank God. But I already
if I would have started Jimmy G over Kirk Cousins, I would have won.
Yeah. I may look into picking him up. He's actually available. Because I picked up somebody else, which was a good pickup. I can't remember. Oh, it was Mariota. He got me some points because he ran. So I had Mariota. That got me some points, but he's gone now because I had to bench Murray and Gino was on a bye.
Right.
Because Murray was hurt. And I still won. I won big. I won like 35 points or something. But Kittle played well, and I was going against McCaffrey. I thought, I'm so screwed. But Kittle had a good game, so it was only
McCaffrey didn't score. They're not using him as
he got some points last night. He got like 25 points or something.
Oh, did he get 20? Yeah.
In fantasy? Yeah.
Okay.
But in the ESPN league, but Kittle had like 23. Because he got 2 touchdowns and something. So like, okay,
nice.
But boy, they didn't tackle against him. But yeah, they just looked and they got Elijah Mitchell back. Oh, I'm like, and Ayuk and Samuel. So they've got as many weapons, pretty close to as many weapons, if not 1 or 2 more than Kansas City.
Anybody. Yeah.
And that's the team you look at is who's got the most weapons. Yeah, to me, I you fall in love with that girl that walks across the street and wears her jeans the right way and has that strut and the stilettos and all that stuff. Like, she's looking good. San Francisco's looking good. They really are. Unless they have a severe injury or 2, I can't see anybody really holding their own now that we see what Minnesota's like. I mean, I thought they'd be better. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm rooting for Philly, and Philly still looks pretty good too. And what I like about Philly is they found a way to win the other night.
Right.
Because they shouldn't have won that game. They didn't play well until the second half of the fourth quarter. For 3.5 quarters, Indy beat them. And out physical them. They played very physical. And you got to admit that Roseman signing Sue and Joseph really helped, because though Jonathan Taylor got some yards, they didn't run all over the place on him.
Right.
And Sue and Joseph teamed up for a sack first week, and they team up and get a sack on Matt Ryan. So you got to say, they are looking to win it. So I think at this point it's probably Philly and San Francisco in the championship game, unless Seattle does something. That would be the only outside team I think is really got a shot. The other ones I think are, NFL mediocre. And
Yeah.
in the AFC, you've got Kansas City and Buffalo. Baltimore might sneak in somehow, but they're like you said, they're banged up.
Yeah.
To me, that's about it.
All right.
So,
All right.
and I
So we
did
got two
find
more
this.
games here.
Yeah, we got two left. Before we finish with the Sunday night and Monday night game, we need to remind you guys that From the Cheap Seats is brought to you by Vineland Realty Corporation in Vineland, New Jersey. We want to thank my pal Dennis Ingraldi over there in Vineland. Any of your South Jersey real estate needs, whether it's business or residential, you want to buy a house, you need to sell some property, or you want to lease out your house or find a place to rent. Give Dennis a call and his folks at 856-690-9482. That's 856-690-9482. Their office is located at 634 East Landis Avenue in Vineland, New Jersey. That's Vineland Realty Corporation, and we want to thank Dennis for sponsoring us and letting us be able to do these things. So thanks, buddy. You're
Thanks,
the man.
Dennis.
You're the man. I don't care what anybody says. So last two games, Sunday night football, Bill. Green Bay, probably one of the largest disappointments in the NFL, travels to Philadelphia, and the spread, I'll double check it, it's still 6.5.
Yeah, you got the cheeseheads visiting the cheesesteaks here.
Yes.
So,
Ooh, very nicely done, Bill.
yeah, nicely done.
Cheeseheads could be in big trouble here. Cheeseheads
Yeah,
are going to have
I
to
think they're
fend
gonna.
off the meat.
Yeah, I think they're gonna melt away here. So,
Is this the
the Eagles the
fondue
last 2
bowl?
weeks haven't looked pretty, but Green Bay has nothing.
They got nothing.
They got nada.
They got nothing.
So,
This
I'll
kid
definitely,
Watson looks okay.
yeah,
He's fast,
but
but he's got hands of stone. He could drop any ball right in his hands
yeah,
at any time.
yeah.
The
Running game has been disappointing. They have a two-headed running game, but hasn't been impressive.
No, and I think part of that is because everyone knows they don't have the receivers, so they kind of keep an eye on the running game, on the running backs. Aaron Jones used to be really good out of the backfield, but it's hard to to get open when you're the only threat. You know what I mean? It's like we know the same thing with Kelsey. These guys are paying attention to the two running backs, and it's working because they don't
Right.
really have receivers. I mean,
Right.
Watson's had a couple breakout games, but I get the feeling that that'll be an adjustment made by a lot of teams in the league as well.
Sure.
Or like he had 2 touchdowns, I think, last week. It wasn't enough.
Right. It wasn't enough. Exactly.
You know, I mean, if he's your only receiving threat, even if he is a threat, you only got one.
Right.
You know, you got to have other options. So
But,
I agree with you. I took Philly to win the game. The only thing that scares me is, and last week we were both right. I think you did the same thing. We both took Indy to cover.
Right.
Philly has a tendency to play down and have had that history for years, to play down to the level of their opposition, even if they're better than that team. And I heard somebody call them that the other day, the Indianapolis Jeff Saturdays.
Yeah.
They're playing hard for him. They
Yeah.
really are.
Yeah.
I think Green Bay may have seen some things that Indy put out there and said, hey, you might be able to run on them a little bit with those two running backs. So I think, at least for now, I think Green Bay is going to keep it close, but I think Philly's going to win the game.
Okay. I'm taking Philly across the board.
Ooh, the non-Philadelphia fan, as far as the Eagles are concerned, is taking Philly across the board. So there's another difference for us. And last but not least, Monday Night Football. It is, speaking of Indianapolis, Indy and Pittsburgh, and it looks like Pittsburgh is the favorite.
Yeah.
By
Colts are favored by 2.5.
The Colts are favored by 2.5. Yes. Oh yeah. Okay, there it is. Couldn't say. I'm sorry. I'm still having some trouble.
No
yes.
problem. That's what I'm here for.
That's what you're there for, to correct me. Story of my life. Story of my
I'm
ex-wife.
I'm the whiteout.
You're the whiteout. You're quality control. Thank God you're here, buddy. Yeah, Indy's picked by 2.5, over Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's nice to see my team on national TV,
It'll be nice,
on the
yeah.
national spotlight.
And
It's
it's
nice.
ESPN, so they're gonna get all that nice coverage because of Jumpin' Jeff
Yeah.
Saturday there, yeah.
And
Former
like you
colleague.
said, they're playing real good with Saturday. Taylor's finally healthy. Their defense is looking really good.
Yes,
Um,
even without Shaq Barrett or
yeah,
Shaq, yeah,
without Shaq
without
Leonard,
Shaq,
yeah.
yeah.
So, and I think that's going to be a little too much for the rookie quarterback
Yeah,
for Pittsburgh. So I'll take
though
the
I will
Colts.
say he's got some potential. He really
Oh
does.
yeah, there's no doubt.
Um,
There's no
I
doubt.
think they got to get him some weapons. His receiving core isn't very good. I think
And
he look
offensive
at this
line,
kid
it's the
Pickens,
same thing. They need
offensive line. He's running around like crazy for his life.
yeah,
Najee Harris isn't as good as he was cracked up to be, but that could go back to being the
offensive
offensive
line,
line
yeah.
issue too. Um,
And the offensive line ain't getting any better. So I'll take the Colts
no,
across the board here.
all right, and I did that as well. I really have. I have some faith in Jeff Saturday. He impressed me.
Yeah.
Game one, he impressed me. I mean, they really looked good, and they
You know
played
what?
hard
And
for him.
good for him because everybody thought he
Oh,
got
everybody was
signed.
like, "Oh, this is a
Oh yeah,
disgrace." Bill Cowher,
yeah,
and it's funny because somebody mentioned who was Bill Cowher to say that crap? Because when
yeah,
he got his job, he was a special teams coordinator. He wasn't even a special teams coach.
yeah.
It was like he was half a level above where Saturday was.
Right.
He was basically looking at videotape, and he became the head coach. It's like, so
Mhm.
the one guy was like, that took him a lot of brass ones for him to say
Yeah.
something. And then suddenly, I don't think he was, people were talking about, I don't even think he was there this Sunday, either that or he just didn't address his comments. I can't remember
Right.
which I saw, but it's like, you know what? They went out and won, so now you're embarrassed, aren't you?
Yeah.
You know, yeah. And it's a shame because I like Cowher and I like the fact that he says what he thinks,
Hmm.
but he missed the mark there, and to do it
Yeah.
in such an arrogant way. I'm glad they
Yeah.
won that game.
Yeah.
So I like them. I think they're going to be tough.
Okay.
All right. So let's look at what we did last week real fast,
Okay.
because we actually both, Bill, had
I
great
thought we did
weeks.
good. I
We
was gonna
did
say,
very
I
good.
know
No,
I did. I mean,
you
like I said,
did.
I didn't add them all up, but I
Yeah.
know.
No, I added them up, and you did very well. We both did good. We both done did good, Bill. Let me see if I can find it, but I can tell you now that both of our percentages went up, and we earned, and as they say, we earned it. Here it is. You were on straight picks. You were 9-5. Good week. I was 10-4. Beat you by a game. Again, a good week. Against the spread, you were 10-4, buddy. Nice job. I was 11-3. Sorry, got you.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Well, I think the Detroit game put me over the hump. That upset pick of the week.
Right.
And there was another one. Oh, Vegas, Denver. That got
Yeah.
you. That
Yeah.
bit you. I took Vegas across the board.
And that game went into overtime.
And that went
So,
into overtime, but it was only a 3-point spread.
Yeah.
And of course, overtime was a touchdown, so that was 6 points. So that's how I got that one. But you're right. We knew it was gonna be a close game. So you are now, as we go into today's picks, you're 89-73 now. So you got well over 500 at 55% straight. I am 93-69. We both have a tie, which of course means that game doesn't figure in.
Right.
93-69 at 57.4%. So we're starting to gain on our Vegas, which is probably what happened last year.
Right.
About halfway mark, we were starting to gain on Vegas. And we're definitely right in their wheelhouse now.
Mm-hmm.
On the spread, we're both, well, you're now 75-84. You actually did go up a couple percentage points. Yeah, you did. 1.5. You're at 47.2%. So you're gonna be over 50% pretty soon. I think this week, because we don't have that many differences.
Right. Right.
And I think we're both gonna kick ass again. I think we're gonna start having, I think the turnaround has started now that we've both been able to see things, and you've been able to see how the numbers are panning out too. So
Yeah.
I think it's gonna go. It's already started. On the spread, I'm 83-76 at 52 point. I broke 50% this week, but that was that 11-3 week or whatever. That's a great
Right.
week. So percentages, we're doing okay. We're getting there, buddy. It was a great week. Good job. Just a couple differences, but if we don't have a couple differences, it's no fun.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Anybody could pick. I mean, we could sit here and just pick all the Vegas games every week and just go, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, everybody great. Yeah. And go with that route. I'm looking to see if there is anything else that wasn't mentioned. I know Carolina, we mentioned Darnold's going to start now for Carolina. Cleveland, their tight end, David Njoku, is questionable with a knee. Judy's supposed to stay back in the lineup. He was back there for Denver. He is listed as questionable with an ankle. Detroit's Josh Reynolds is questionable with a back injury. They upgraded Dobbs in Green Bay to questionable with an ankle, but they haven't said if he's going to play yet or not. Mike Williams is questionable with his ankle. Rams, we already talked about. Stafford's out. Wolford is questionable with a neck injury. So it might be that third string kid again. They haven't said.
Right.
The backup, Bridgewater for Miami, is questionable with a knee injury. So that means Skylar Thompson would be your backup there. New England, Devontae Parker is questionable with a knee injury. For New Orleans, Landry is questionable again with an ankle injury now. Cam Jordan has an orbital bone fracture. So he's questionable. He's not listed as out. And Mark Ingram is upgraded from last week to questionable now with a knee injury. Tampa Bay, Gage and Fournette are out. I'm sorry, they're questionable. Fournette with a hip, Gage with a hamstring. Wentz is supposed to be back on the roster, but he's a backup now anyway to Tyler Heineke. Chase Young is questionable with a knee, but they think he'll play.
Right.
Jets, we already talked about Wilson being benched. Mike White starting. Flacco's the backup, and I think Wilson's going to be the inactive guy. The big things to worry about are Fields for Chicago, Murray probably for Arizona. The quote there was he expects to play.
Right.
I think they're the two big ones, and maybe Micah Parsons for Dallas is questionable with a knee injury. They're probably the three biggest things to look at.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think that's it, Bill.
Yeah. Very good.
All right. Let's get out of here. Let's blow this clam bake. Enjoy the game starting tomorrow, folks.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yeah.
Stay
Happy
well.
Thanksgiving. Don't overeat, or if you do, don't go and do anything strenuous after you overeat. And Bill, you take it easy. All right.
That's it.
Yep. Don't overdo it tomorrow, buddy.
No.
You know.
I'll be in the recliner.
That's it. Don't overdo the fork thing either, like I do.
That's
pal.
it.
You can't do that anymore. So.
No.
All right.
I'll be taking it easy.
Okay. I'm gonna have to probably feed Gizmo. He's over here making noise. That usually
All right,
means
my friend.
it's one of two things: eat or take me out. And he went out just before, so it's eat time.
Yeah.
All right, pal. Have yourself
right.
a good week. For
Yeah,
Billy
I'll
Smith,
talk to you tomorrow.
for everybody else around here, let's blow this clam bake. We'll talk to you. If I can get this thing to go for it. There we go. All right. For some reason, it's not working. Well, you know what? We don't care about the theme. Okay, that's the end of that. Thanks, Bill. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We will see you Sunday Morning Express.